ugly. Been the norm.
Well, except for with about 4 minutes to go in the first half, it was, I think, a 3-point game. And then Illinois went on like a 14-0 run.
Yeah. I'm not bringing this up to break down last night's Michigan-Illinois game. I think better of your time, Rico, and the listeners' time. But bigger picture, Juwan Howard, his future at Michigan. I think we're all kind of on the same page. This has run its course. The longer he's there, the worse the program is. He's a dead man walking. They're going to have to fire him at the end of the season. Ohio State fired their basketball coach in season. But the general consensus, I would say, right, David, Michigan fans are like, all right, Juwan, he hasn't worked out. He's going to get let go, right? Is that fair to say?
Yeah.
Okay. Ward Manuel doesn't agree with that, at least not publicly. Ward Manuel's quotes, "It would be fair to say I have not really thought about any changes to our men's basketball program at this time. It's one of those things that I guess I can't say it any clearer. I want to support Juwan to be successful. I've not given any moment or thought or anything about changes at this time, and so my support is of him, our student athletes, and our staff." Keep in mind, Michigan is on track to finish last place in the Big Ten for the first time since 1967. Ward hasn't put any thought into it.
Yeah, when you played that game with us, like, how long? And we're like, 90s lower. 80s lower.
70s?
77, nope.
72, no. 1967, the last time they finished dead last in the Big Ten. They are well on their way. Rico, your response, the AD at Michigan saying, I haven't even really thought about it. I support Juwan.
No, I believe him. I don't think he has thought about it because this goes into the whole thing. You sacrificed everything. You won the national title, and that's really was on the radar for not just Ward Manuel, but all Michigan fans. And now coming down off of that high, you're realizing how bad this basketball team is. But, yeah, I mean, if Juwan hasn't been let go by now, he's not going to get let go for a while.
Or is this the dreaded vote of confidence right before the firing? I wonder how people interpret it. Like, I can't fathom the idea that this guy coaches Michigan basketball next season.
I can. Because I don't know where the level of care is for Michigan basketball.
Come on, man.
David.
Seriously?
David, let him have it.
David, you're not paying him this gigantic salary to coach. So who are you going to get to come in there?
I don't care. But he ain't going to be there. And I don't think Ward is saying he will be there. I think he's saying this guy's a legend.
And I guess the bigger question
I can't get rid of this legend right now.
The other question is Ward going to be there?
Well, he's over the CFP now.
That means nothing. Honestly, that means nothing. I get what you're saying, but it's like, okay, do you just wait and see if you get a new athletic director and let him do the
I don't think there's any indication that Ward's leaving or will be dismissed.
He shouldn't be there. Okay.
Right, but I didn't. Okay, these are two different conversations. Right. There's no indication.
He's not going to quit, no.
Well, there's no indication that they're going to remove him from his.
And if you're not going to remove Ward, why are you going to remove Juwan? You didn't remove Juwan for not one, but two attacks on coaches. Okay? You didn't. You didn't remove Juwan over a air quote something
incident.
Happened in the training room. Yeah. But all of a sudden, the trainer is no longer around the program. You didn't remove him. You didn't remove him when Juwan kind of suspended, but he didn't really suspend his point guard, but then said he makes great decisions last night.
Okay, the whole suspension is one of the most bizarre things I have seen in college athletics. They have a player who broke a rule. Mm-hmm. Right? Mum's the word on what it was, right. But he did something, a transgression that was worthy of suspension. Mm-hmm. And rather than hand him a suspension that runs from A to B, he can play home games but not road games. This would be like, and I don't have kids and Rico doesn't have kids, but David, this would be like if your kid did something stupid, acted out of line, and you said, you are grounded on Friday nights. You can still go out on Saturday nights, but you're grounded on Friday nights. You're not really disciplining them.
Done nothing.
I'm taking away no computer time, but here's your iPad.
Right, exactly. It's this half measure. It's
right. Give me your phone, but you can use your iPad.
That's Roberto parenting right there.
Right, it's like he literally gave you the definition of a little bit pregnant. Like you're kind of suspended.
He's kind of suspended. That's your leading scorer. That's how you treat.
Because this would have been over with.
I know.
Dude, you're
He'd
not
already
gonna
be back.
Yeah, but home games. Oh, you're the man.
We gotta
Away
sell
games.
tickets.
Well, he's working out some stuff. If he hasn't been let go now, but the thing is, when you see what Ohio State did, and he actually has a winning record this year. Now, he's not good in the Big Ten, but it was like, you know what? No, you've been here 7 years. Program's going down. We're going to cut our losses right here, right now.
No, but here's the thing, though. Do you consider, and I would, consider Juwan a legend, a Michigan legend?
Yeah.
Yeah, he's a Michigan
Fab
legend.
Five.
Yeah.
What happened when Jim Harbaugh, people wanted him gone? He wasn't doing what he needed to do at Michigan. They didn't fire him.
Right. He was allowed to lose to
He
Ohio
was allowed
State.
to just take a reduced salary and stay. I truly believe that he's a legend, so they're not going to fire Juwan. But at the end of the year, I'll just leave and go back to the NBA. So they won't fire him, but he's still gone. But I know he will not be the head coach of Michigan basketball next season.
Well, maybe that's what maybe they hope that he gets a job in the NBA.
I think they know.
But maybe it's like Harbaugh, where look how long it took Harbaugh to finally get somebody to say, okay, Jim, we'll take you.
But
that was to be a head coach. Juwan would just be an assistant somewhere. You can get that anywhere.
Look, Chris Holtman was let go by Ohio State. Juwan, I don't think he will be, David. I think he'll be back next year because I don't think that there's enough people, Michigan boosters and alums, that care. Rieger's probably the only fan I know that this bothers him every morning. That he calls me and he says a lot of unsavory things that I can't believe he's there. I don't think that the basketball team moves the needle, especially because you got a good football team.
Well, it's always been a discussion, like at Michigan, a football school, but they've played for national titles, plural, recently in hoops. They did those renovations at Chrysler. This is a big-time institution that should be better than this. They shouldn't be flirting with a last-place finish in the Big Ten. They shouldn't be missing the NCAA tournament ever, let alone back-to-back seasons. They shouldn't be in this position. There should be more pride. There should be more accountability. He can't be coaching next season. Now, wouldn't be the first time it's happened, Urban Meyer. Is there a medical thing that they used, right? I mean, didn't Juwan miss some time this year with a health issue?
Well, he talked about that last night at his press conference about how, it rejuvenated him. And he was like, yeah, sitting there in the bed. And, I'm paraphrasing, but he was saying that, when I was there and in the hospital and all of that, but it's like, dude, your team is not good. And it's going backwards. And you had 2 lottery picks and Hunter Dickinson. And you didn't do anything with that last year.
Speaking of press conferences, there's also been some bizarre stuff in these post games where a couple weeks ago, maybe a couple weeks ago, they lost and he said, maybe I should have played the walk-ons. Basically threw all of his starters under the bus. And maybe they deserved it, but it's a weird thing. You don't hear many coaches say, I guess I should have played my walk-ons. And then last night
was very weird
against Illinois. By the way, they got destroyed. It was not close at all in that second half.
At one point, I think Illinois was up 38, and that's when I officially said, I can quit watching this.
Click, click, click. But if you ended up seeing the clip on social media, somehow it got brought up. Terrence Shannon's the star player for Illinois. And Juwan Howard said something to the effect of like, well, we recruited him to Michigan. He was committed here. You're welcome. Okay, thanks.
He was recruited and he was going to come to Michigan, but it sounds like he couldn't make it through Michigan because of his credits and his grades, so he couldn't transfer in. So
he ends up at Illinois.
He ends up, you're welcome.
And Juwan's got this smug, you're welcome, as his team gets decimated.
Like, is this really what we're doing right now? But that to me is a sign of a man who knows I'm untouchable. I'm not going anywhere. So no. You see some coaches and you can see the stress and anxiety because they know I'm at the end. I got to do something desperate. Juwan shows up, happy, smiling. You just got beat down and you're welcome. There's no stress. There's no angst. There's no anxiety. And that's why I said Juwan knows. David, he's an icon. You're going to get Harbaugh treatment if you can get a job in the NBA in the offseason, God bless you, go. But if you can't, you're still the head coach here.
He already knows he's leaving.
We got Phil Martelli, so we could always do something. So you go right ahead and do you. I think he'll be back.
He's also said recently, he's like, this bleep works, and he cited when he took over, they made the Elite Eight and then the Sweet 16.
Oh, yeah, he said that.
But if you follow, and if I were to finish where he stopped, I would say, yeah, you had the Elite Eight, then the Sweet 16, and then you got worse and worse and worse. It's gotten worse every single year you've been here. The further you are removed from the Beeline recruits, the Beeline program, the tenants, the culture, the further it becomes Juwan's program, the more it becomes your team, the more inept the team looks. So, Juwan, let's follow your chronological timeline. You did make an Elite Eight. And the longer you've been there, the further removed. They don't look anything like that program anymore.
No. They don't. It's like, wow. But then when you hear Ward Manuel saying, yeah, I'm not even thinking about that.
I haven't even thought about a change at this time.
Tells me once again.
My support is of him, our student athletes, and our staff. Can't be any clearer. I want to support Juwan.
I think Michigan fans are upset, but I believe him. I do. I don't think that this is AD speak. I think Ward is like, wait, you want me to fire him?
I hope for the sake of Michigan basketball fans, and maybe there aren't that many of them, so this is a small group I'm talking to, but for the sake of them, I hope this is that vote of confidence that we see right before a change, where he's not going to say it publicly, but he's going to act on it privately. Otherwise,
Look, 248-539-9797. The question I'll ask is this for the Michigan basketball fans. Would you like to see Michigan do what Ohio State just did today? Say, we're going to move on, and we're going to start right now. We're not waiting till the end of the season. 97-1.